All right, let's do Libra. Aries Sun, Libra Ascendant. So your Neptune is in the 6th house right now, which means that there may be a breaking down of day-to-day health routines. There may be a breaking down of errands, of how you live day to day. The North Node is in your 10th house, so you're evolving towards a new sort of public identification, and moving out of a more nurturing aspect, less time in the home and more time in the public eye. And it may be through the breakdown in what it is that you're supposed to do every single day, or like to maintain health or to maintain diet, that you will come across what your new sort of external articulation is. Okay, let's see what the cards say. So can I have for Aries Sun Libra Ascendant a card for Neptune and Pisces in the 6th, please? Aries Sun Libra Ascendant, card for their Neptune and Pisces. Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. Okay. So healing. So there's, the 6th house is also about health and healing. It's Virgo's house, so it's about purification. So there may be some sort of purification process that you're going through that will help bring you to, maybe some of you are becoming healers, maybe some of you are becoming dietitians. You may be finding new ways of health, new ways of physical fitness, new ways of living day to day. Let's see what the North Node for Aries Sun Libra Ascendant. What's their North Node? Aries Sun Libra Ascendant. Aries Sun Libra Ascendant, North Node in the 10th house, please. A card for top one. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution and expression. Okay, so it's definitely about speaking up. And it may be about, coming out of the cave is the home. It's where you feel safe. It's sort of where you retreat to protect yourself against the rest of the world. And that South Node is pushing you out of there and into the world. Let's see what this says. So can I have for Aries Sun Libra Ascendant the South Node in their 4th house, please? Aries Sun Libra Ascendant, South Node in their 4th house. Okay, so there's definitely a transformation happening, and there's this old, you're really coming out. You see how this bird sort of emerges from behind there? So there is an old identity that you're being asked to let go of, and to step into a new, more visible one. The bird is something that emerges from out of the deep. See, there's this person's lying here. Let's see what the Artist Oracle says. Can I have a card for Aries Sun Libra Ascendant, please? Some artist wisdom for Aries Sun Libra Ascendant. Aries Sun Libra Ascendant. What do the artists have to say to Aries, Sun, Libra, Ascendant? Wait, I'll take the top one. Okay, so I'll be honest, I do not know this artist. Name is Buckminster Fuller. And the advice here is live to serve, serve to solve, which is quite interesting because it talks about service and that's the 6th house. Invent the words by which to live your life. Okay, so that was kind of what I said here. It's like maybe you're all coming into sort of a new way where you give advice on how to heal. Maybe becoming teachers, actually, some of you. Great heights are best seen from your lowest point. Okay, and so in this emergence of the 4th house, which is at the bottom, to the top house at the 10th, this process of taking what you've learned at the lowest point to help enrich your 10th house transformation into something new. So whatever the wound, the illness, the thing that needed healing, whatever you have there that may have ailed you in the past is actually going to be the driver for your emergence from this cave and into a phoenix, right? So that energy, it's going to be about transmuting that healing energy or that pain into something new that you will actually be able to teach and share with others so that they might be able to heal themselves. That something is going to be like your finest work of, like your own life and your own wounds are somehow going to be your finest, you'll turn them into your finest work of art. Okay, because look, there's you see how the pyramids there, just like one of the 7 wonders of the world, man-made. So it's like right in front of you. It's just about learning how to transmute what it is that you have there into something great. Looks like you're going to build something awesome, though. You know, I mean, the guy's holding the globe here, so. And see how that's mirrored in these 2 cards here. So you're in the process of building something very exciting. It may not feel like it because it looks like it's coming from wound energy, something deep, very deep in your subconscious, which is the 4th house. It'll be maybe something having to do with family roots. But whatever it is that you're constructing, it looks like it's going to be something of enormous importance. Okay? That was exciting. Let's do Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpio has Neptune in the 5th house. Okay, so that's the house of me, the sun, children, creativity, joy, fun. You may be having over idealizing lovers. You may be over idealizing creativity. You may be dreaming of new creative paths. The North Node is in your 9th house, so you may find foreigners to be of assist, that you have some foreign people or foreign lands, foreign texts. It's publishing, it's new belief systems, it's new philosophies. So you're in a process of actually where that sort of dissolution of individual creative energy is happening is helping you move out of your sort of local field. You may be moving from home into a foreign country. But that experience of going from being local to being global is being helped by this creative transformation that you have right now. So let's see, for Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Ascendant, Neptune in Pisces. And the 5th, what message does Neptune in Pisces have for this? Odin, psychic insight, your 3rd eye is open. See truth for what it is, follow your intuition. Okay, let's see the other cards to see how that plays out. You see how the birds are flying? Birds are always harbingers of messages. Sorry. These videos are turning out to be longer than I expect. I've been talking for so long. Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Ascendant. Can I please have a card for their North Node? Okay. Interesting. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So, like I said, the birds are messengers. So I would say, like, pay attention, and it might come from like a Gemini. Or air signs. I always think of Geminis as being birds, right? Because they're the ones who sort of sit in nature. The birds are the first ones to warn everybody else on the ground of what's coming. So pay attention to the messages that come into you from foreign lands. You see, she's like looking far off into the distance. Or perhaps they come through the internet in a foreign language. Perhaps they're ancient texts, because you see here's like all the runes and stuff. So maybe it's you're called to study a foreign language, or the answer will come through a foreign language. Let's see what the South Node says. Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Ascendant, South Node in the third, please. And this picture here kind of reminds me of that movie Pocahontas, where she's sitting at the river trying to figure out what it is, does she want to stay? Does she want to go? And he was a foreigner, so she was like, do I stay true to my people, or do I leave with this guy? Okay, and here's what you have to give up. This is very Scorpio. It's asking you to give up control. So this is what's on your South Node. So it may be a moment that doesn't feel comfortable, because we know that the Scorpio, with the Aries Sun and the Scorpio Ascendant, that's a powerful, and look at these two, powerful figure. But you see the difference is that this one, because of the control, what's coming at him is just clouds. And this guy's kind of more open. He's got his wings open. And so the birds are flying to him. And he looks like he's actually more in control, because he's open to receiving messages. This is more like fists clenched, like, I got to do things my way, and that's it. So you might want to be a little bit more open to messages that are coming to you. Maybe give them a little bit more credence than you normally had. And help might be coming from, I want to say, from foreign entities, which it doesn't necessarily mean foreigners, but things that you may not have normally considered before are bringing stuff to you. And if, look, he's got his eyes closed, right? And if we don't let go of this energy, they can't come in. So let's see what the artists have to say. Can we have a message from the artists for Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Ascendant? Aries, Sun, Scorpio, Ascendant. What wisdom do the artists bring us? Caravaggio. This is pretty funny. Okay, so it says, try to keep violence metaphorical, right? I love that for Scorpio. Adjust your eyes to darkness. A head on the shoulders is worth two in the hand. So it's this very violent image here of this beheading. And, so it's like, maybe less maybe, about having to be less tyrant energy. Because look, you have these three sort of tyrants here. I don't hate me. I just read the cards, right? So you have these sort of three kind of aggressive, violent men, all in the position of what's going on. Then you have this poor woman that's sitting here who just kind of like wants to live peacefully in this lovely, dreamy landscape. And so it feels to me like right now you may feel like surrounded by this violent energy and sort of very heavy masculine overtones, and like you're always having to fight. And really it's saying like this is kind of what's at your heart right now and where you would rather be. Like you don't want to be in this place here. And since it's the North or South Node, it may just be like what you're used to and what you've known. And so it's hard to move into a place like this. But I would say, whatever makes you feel like this is what's going to pull you closer to your future. So try and keep the violence metaphorical, please. Did I say metaphysical before? Anyway, it says metaphorical. Find this, like, where's this spot in your day? Where's this spot in your life? Who's the person that makes you feel like this? That's where your North Node is. Okay. Next, Sag. So Sagittarius has Neptune in the 4th, North Node in the 8th, South Node in the 2nd. What does this mean? It means that Neptune is sort of breaking down what the house looks like, what home means, what the roots are. It's the moon's house, you know. So that too is a very psychic placement. As with the North Node in the 8th house, also very psychic. It's also about merging. It's about death, taxes, things we can't control. And the South Node in the 2nd is value, you know, things that self-value, things that we value, our husbands, our wives. And North Node is about merging. Like the South Node, you can count it. The North Node is kind of a different, it's alchemy, it's blending. So this Neptune in the 4th and the North Node in the 8th seem to me that there's kind of like a breakdown of your material assurances, like the things that gave you a feeling of security, knowing what home looked like, or what you could count on, or what you could count as something of value to you, is starting to get blurry and evolve and merge into something else. Let's see what Neptune in Pisces has to say for Aries Sun, Sagittarius Ascendant. Soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. That's kind of what I said. You understand the connections between all things, right? So it's like home may be the universe to you now, as opposed to the physical location that you were born into. You may be redefining your roots. Can I get a card for North Node in the 8th house for Aries Sun, Sagittarius Ascendant, please? North Node. Okay. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So you see how this person's like on a journey away, like almost away from home. Here's the columns, and they're walking off into sort of a different path. So like I said, you may be redefining what home means to you, maybe out on sort of like a wanderlust adventure in search of new roots, in search of new constellations. And they may be people, you may be studying astronomy, you may actually be working on like a whole new network of how people play together. So as opposed to the family of origin, a family of choice. Let's see what the South Node is here. Can I get South Node, a card for Aries Sun, Sagittarius Ascendant? Their South Node in the second house. What do they have to move away from? What are they moving away from? Aries Sun, Sagittarius Ascendant, South Node. Okay. So it's about it looks like your whole universe is changing, right? That this kind of like this maelstrom. You see how everything's sort of circular there, that's sort of repeated. You're writing a new solar system for you. Off on a journey to new lands, to a sort of new sacred center here. Let's see what the artists say. Can I get a message for Aries Sun, Sagittarius Ascendant? There's stars all over the place here, you know, stars, stars, stars. So, you know, maybe you're studying astrology, maybe you're studying astronomy, maybe you're being guided by the stars. There's definitely like a very cosmic energy right now, I would say, for you. Gilbert and George. Okay, so these guys are kind of like funny. I think one of them is Italian, actually, which is funny. So it says, be the art you wish to see in the world. Your work should not be selfish and dress the part. So be the art you wish to see in the world. It's kind of like you're becoming your own constellation. Does that make sense? Your work should not be selfish, dress the part. Yeah, that there's something in, as you discover, like literally changing at the core, and as this starts to become visible to others, you see how this, like, everything starts from the center and starts radiating outside of it. So you have a change that's happening almost at a very, well, it's North Node 8th house, so that'll be hidden. There's giant shifts that are happening inside, which will start to become visible as you continue on this journey. And what this says is that you're already on the path. So whatever you're doing, keep doing more of it. And you're gonna see that will start to, you know, when you like stir a pot at the beginning, it doesn't start the vortex until you've been doing it for a little while. So this vortex is kind of happening where your external expression will start to be a very authentic representation of that which you feel deep within. So perhaps no longer attached to sort of a material definition of you, and far more spiritual, authentic belief system. Like you're starting to walk the talk kind of thing. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's do Aries Sun, Capricorn Ascendant. So you have Neptune in the third house. Third house is brothers and sisters, early childhood. It's your local neighborhood. It's communications. Your North Node is in the 7th house. Your South Node is in the 1st. So actually you are being taught or evolving into relationships. Now that's an interesting one, I have to say. Aries Sun, Capricorn Ascendant with the North Node in the 7th. That's a busy chart you have going on right now. And so you may be learning how to give up some old ways of being, maybe about either putting yourself first or not putting yourself first. however that may be, and evolving towards how to partner properly. And this will come through a idealization of communications, a breakdown, perhaps a fogginess around communications, not being able to tell perhaps what's true with what's not true. You know, third house, Gemini house, so there's always two stories. Hold on. So let's see. Can I get a card for Aries Sun, Capricorn Ascendant, dying to talk, Neptune in Pisces in their third house, please? Saint-Germain, karma releasing, move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. Okay. Let's see what the rest says here. Can I get a card for Aries Sun, Capricorn Ascendant, their North Node in the 7th house? Ooh, jumped out. Okay, transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. And there's that moon, that full moon again. And see, he's got the moon behind him also. You see the color schemes are very... And you see how there's a male and a female? So it's really about like partnership energy, about balancing that yin and that yang. And she has those there. So, you know, it's like whatever you may feel that's uncomfortable about these changes, that don't seem natural, stay on your positive side as much as possible. Don't get bogged down in the negative energy. You're releasing. You see, also see that moon is putting off a lot of things. So release a lot of that excess emotional energy, I would say. Let's see what the South Node says. Can we get Aries Sun, Capricorn Ascendant, South Node? What do they need to release? Something just flipped. Intensity. So that's the is the Knight of Wands. So it's asking to maybe tone down a little bit the fire energy, and know that whatever that whole process of the miscommunications, which may be like what's happening, is perhaps teaching you a new way to communicate, so that you can partner more effectively. That this kind of intensity that you've had in the past is not necessary anymore. That the release of this karma is helping you shift who you are from one into the other also. See, there's like, it's not only male and female, but it's also like perhaps from like kind of like a more masculine communication to a more feminine communication, because it's in Cancer, because that North Node is in Cancer. So it's less, I would say, about and they're both kind of wearing like capes and stuff. So really sort of stepping into a more motherly nurturing, as opposed to kind of like get the magician vibe off of him, no? So maybe a little bit less masculine tendencies, always having to bring the fire, and more like balance. She reminds me of the High Priestess, you know? Can you imagine like the High Priestess getting into like a yelling fit? So it's like, if you're faced with drama, how would the High Priestess handle it? Kind of question. Let's get one more card. What advice can the artist give our Aries Sun Capricorn friends, please? Aries Sun Capricorn Ascendant. Aries Sun Capricorn Ascendant. What words of wisdom from the artists? Oh, I love this woman. Okay. Yayoi Kusama. I don't know if you know this woman. I believe she's actually like mentally unstable or mentally ill. And she paints these really cool polka dot paintings. She's like 85 years old. Anyway, her wisdom says, your soul is composed of the same dots as the universe, which is interesting because there's like kind of connect the dots there too also. Distinguish yourself from your mirror image and show them your hallucinations. Okay, so a little bit cryptic, that one. So what I would say is you are a reflection of the universe itself. Are you having dreams, visions that you find unsettling, but are actually the way forward? And it's going to be around communications here because that Neptune is in the 3rd house. So, you know, try and, I want to say, connect the dots. Whenever you find that like things are unclear or the communications are foggy, to try and make order out of them by connecting the dots into a shape that makes sense. Okay. And I feel like you have some sort of like, there's some sort of creative vision that you have going on that you need to bring forward. Because it keeps talking about, you know, this talks about cellular, this talks about dots. So whatever it is that you're working on or that you have that looks disconnected and you can't find the link between them, there is actually a connection somewhere. And I feel like if you trust more in your dreams and, let's say, hallucinations, less action, a little bit more imagination and intuition. So again, going into that high priestess energy as opposed to Knight of Wands. If you stopped doing, what imaginations would come to you? And is there within the dots that you have on the table that perhaps look disconnected, is there a way to organize them that they start to make sense? I don't know if that helps at all. Sounds a little cryptic, but I just read the cards. Okay, let's do Aquarius. Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant. So your Neptune is in the 2nd house. So you are redefining that which is of material value to you, not only like in terms of physical possessions, but also like what you consider worthy. Could be people, could be time, could be friends, could be food, you know, it could be your own self-worth. So there is a dissolution, a fog around, an idealism around value, conversations about value. Now your North Node is in the 6th house right now, and the South Node is in the 12th. So it's very much your way out is going to be through day to day. Finding new routines, finding new ways, healthy diets, new exercise plans, pets, anything that's North or 6th house related is going to help you get a better idea of what you value. You know, sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, and so what this is saying to me is that if there's a question around what is of value to you, that it is through the process of day-to-day living that will become more clear. But let's see what the cards say here. Can I have for Neptune and Pisces for Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant? Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant, the Neptune and Pisces transit, please. Whoa. Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant, thank you. Cloak of Wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Okay, let's see. So Neptune is like, It may be breaking down what you think you value, and so the confusion that you maybe have over what things are worth or what's important to you is actually not confusion, because you already know. So it's like a question of like just trusting. And even though things may look unclear, if you just stick with that place, that inner knowing, you'll be fine. So let's see the North Node, please. I'll take the top. Play. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. That's nice. So maybe it's about like, she's in like a little champagne glass here, you know. So spot like what wellness is your North Node in wellness, and how to enjoy that, how to make everyday enjoyment a routine. Let's see what's in the South Node. Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant. What's their South Node? What do they need to release? Silence. Interesting. And you see there's that full moon again. And there, so it's like, that's kind of like a sun. So turning that sort of seriousness of the moon into the fun of the sun. And you see he's like kind of all like bright yellow there. So if you guys are like in your head about things, it looks like you don't have to. I know South Node releasing in the 12th is kind of karmic, so things may feel a little bit intense. But it says, you know, to make sure that play and having fun and taking care of yourself is part of your daily routine. Okay, let's see if there's any wisdom. And see, there's the snake there, the snake, which is part of the healing, like the Mercury healing there. May I have some artist wisdom for Aries Sun, Aquarius Ascendant, please? What do the artists have to, what advice can they give Aries Sun, Aqua Ascendant? Okay, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Sorry. In lieu of a canvas, find a wall. Try collaborating with Andy Warhol. Good work can come from bad habits. So that's interesting because, you know, the 6th house is about shifting habits, or is about healing habits and day-to-day routines. So there's something in your current 6th house that, like, if you can flip them into a way that's fun, and you see that same halo sun repetition there, and they all have that same image of the circle. These 3 are kind of more solar in terms of what it is, and this one is lunar. So it's like almost like get out of that blue energy, overthinking, because this one says you already know. Aquarius can kind of get in its head sometimes. And in the process of perhaps trying to correct your bad habits, looking at things, so in lieu of a canvas, find a wall, you know, that's looking at things from a different perspective. And I want to say he kind of reminds me of the Hanging Man, no? So it's asking you to sort of look at your problem from a different perspective, and figure and understand, if you don't have a canvas, paint on the wall, right? So there is an answer already in your field on how to solve what it is that you're worried about. You perhaps aren't seeing it because you're too in your head, and in either having bad habits, good work can come from bad habits. She's sitting there in a champagne glass. I would never want to encourage people to drink, but just saying, perhaps, perhaps through some sort of exploration of these bad habits, or through fun, or things that you consider bad habits that you want to correct, that's where your next phase of evolution comes from. Okay. And finally, I have my notes here. It would have been impossible to remember all this. Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant. You have Neptune in the first. This is a tough one because what is, you are becoming one with Neptune. And so there can be a breakdown of self. There can be questions of who am I, or am I becoming the most spiritual version of myself? So Neptune will sort of put a shroud of creativity, idealism around your personal expression. Now you have North Node in the 5th house, which is the house of creativity, and South Node in the 11th house. So what this means is that Pisces, which is also very much about the collective, as is the 11th house, you are being asked to actually walk away from that and to move into the Sun's house, to be more creative, but also creative on an individual level. So as opposed to trying necessarily to participate in group projects or in things that benefit the collective, to try and have a more direct, joyful, childish exploration of creativity. Now let's see here. Can I have Neptune and Pisces for Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant, please? Neptune and Pisces for Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant. Light activation, shine your light. Okay, so that's what I said. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So yeah, this is like stepping into that kind of solar vibe where you are at the center of your creativity and you're shining for it. Neptune in the first will not necessarily want you to shine, but where it's going to help you is in that dissolution of self. You're going to find the creativity that will help you shine. That's kind of the message I get. Okay, so can I get a card for the North Node in the 5th house for Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant, please? Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant, what's their North Node? I'm going to take the top one. Okay, mirror. Who or what is triggering you? Okay, so this is interesting because it talks about reflections. And what do you see when you look in the mirror? You know, perhaps, are you spending too much time thinking about who you are and you need to spend more time creating? Are you wondering who is this person, you know, or do you feel like everything's an illusion, like you can't get a very good grasp on who you are? Asking who or what is triggering you. So, you know, they say that we get clarity on ourselves through other people, and the things that we like or dislike about the other person are actually things that we like or dislike about ourselves. And so whenever you find yourself kind of like in a triggered space, perhaps pay attention to what it was that triggered you and seek inside yourself what that, like how that plays out. Where do you do that thing that just drove you nuts? And in that exploration of it, it's sort of, you know, this body of light, it becomes a light body, you know. So here it's like there's two and here's there's one that's shining, but shining from the inside. So it almost seems to me like an internal exploration of who am I, perhaps through a creative venue, actually starts to bring your light body into being. Okay, can I have a card for the South Node? Thank you. Interesting. So this is South Node. It's what needs to be released, and what needs to be released is compromise. Okay, so that you see how there's always the two figures, and what's happening, as I said, is there's this like one. So there's a process of self-identification that's happening through the disillusion, or to be able to see it in the mirror representation of others. So maybe you can't see yourself, but you can see others, and so that's how you're learning about yourself. Now, it's saying of these two mirrored images, what needs to emerge is the one, right? And that creative energy that you have will help you do that. Let's get some artist wisdom for Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant. Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant. What do the artists have to say to Aries Sun, Pisces Ascendant? Oh, you got the Caravaggio too. Crazy, because this came out for Scorpio. This is not a Pisces energy. It's Caravaggio. It says, try to keep violence metaphorical. Adjust your eyes to darkness. A head on the shoulders is worth two in the hand. So, you know, it's and there's the swords also. So there's a cutting out of a second person, a second identity, a head, a reflection that no longer belongs to you. There's only one head standing after this one is eliminated. But there is a process. There's a process of, because there's all two here, and then here's the one. So, you know, like I said, pay attention to the reflection of life that comes back to you, because again, it is through our interactions with others that we understand our own experience. Understand which part needs to be quite literally cut out in order, and they're all kind of like dark, right? So maybe there's like a light and a dark energy here also, because you see how these are kind of dark and these are kind of light. So where is this darkness bringing you down, so that you can move into your sun aspect, and to try and remove people, places, situations that shroud you in this darkness, so that you can begin to shine regardless of the dark that is behind you. And here it says, you know, adjust your eyes to darkness. So perhaps it is in the delving into that darker side of life experience that actually you find your light. Okay, hope that was helpful to everyone. I know it was kind of trippy, but I hope it's useful. Again, as I said, this will be valid for this trine, which will be going on all year. So it's perfecting between May 22nd and May 29th, but it will be following us all the way until September. So feel free to come back and watch this anytime. It's not really related to this specific week. It's kind of for the entire transit. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.